was going to say I was 6 in 2001.
Make me feel pretty old, yeah. We've got to be careful, haven't we, that we don't just sit there in front of a computer screen and go, hit it further left, hit it further right, hit it further left, hit it further right. You know, it's kind of using it in the right way, I think.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Below Par podcast with myself, Joe, and Joe.
Hello, everybody.
And today, again, we are joined by Chris Ryan. Chris, thank you very much for coming on.
My pleasure.
So this is a little bit of a different video to the last one. Obviously, guys, if you haven't already checked it out, make sure to check out our quick fire questions with Chris. This one is a little bit more about the hot topic, but first we're going to ask Chris about his HIT Golf Academy that he has set up, I believe, with a partner.
There's 3 of us.
3 of you. Cool. Give us a little bit more information.
So I've set it up with 2 friends and colleagues, really. I've worked with them both, but they're both really good friends. I was at the Belfry for 16 years, something like that. Just ready for a change, really. Just ready for a new challenge, a new venture, really. And the Belfry was phenomenal for me. Opened a lot of doors, put me in touch with a lot of good people. But it just got to the point with the social media stuff that probably my direction that I wanted to go in didn't possibly quite match with the way that they wanted me to work for them. So an opportunity came up at the Forest of Arden. So the 3 of us kind of got together and we approached the Forest of Arden and asked if we could purchase the rights to the teaching there. They agreed, and we kind of went in there and set it up. We set it up as HIT Golf Academy, but the idea, well, there's 3 of us who coach, and we just kind of have our own diaries. The reason we put the name there was because we thought, well, actually, if this goes well and we want to potentially take on another academy, we've got an umbrella that they can kind of sit under. But effectively, there's 3 of us, and it's good. I mean, we've got a fair bit of technology there. We've got 3D machines, we've got TrackMans, we've got body tracks. So it's a pretty good place, really.
Brilliant. I was just about to ask, actually, what technology you're using at the moment to coach with. Is there any sort of favourite bit of tech that you have that you almost couldn't live without now?
I've got my, the technology I use now and the way it's set up is actually one of the main reasons I left the Belfry. Because when I was coaching at the Belfry, they don't actually have, and it might have changed recently, but they didn't have a dedicated coaching room. So I was going into work with 8-9 hours of lessons and just kind of trying to find where I could coach someone. And I was getting to the point where I was thinking, I need a studio. This isn't how I want to coach. And so what I've got now is I've got 2 fixed cameras down the line and face on, and they're both linked to TrackMan. So TrackMan sits behind, so every time, provided it's turned on and I'm watching, every time someone hits a shot, I get ball flight, I get club data, and I get 2 camera angles to see. And the reason I like that is because I want to be able to capture, not every swing, but when they're playing great, you want to see ball flight, video and that. And then 2 months down the line, when they come back and say I'm playing terribly, you just go, well, what were you doing? What were you doing back then? Let's just look at you back then. So I use TrackMan most lessons. The thing I like about TrackMan is that the parameters that it measures, you can choose what you show. So there'll be some golfers who come in who like to keep it very simple. So you can just hide all the path and spin lofts and just let them have carry distance or whatever it may be, or you can make it as complicated as you like. So I use that a lot. I've got body track, which measures pressure. Again, I use that a fair bit. I tend to use it all on a first lesson because for me, I'm just trying to build a real good picture of what this golfer does. How do they hit it? How do they move? What does it look like? I'm trying to use all that. And then, so sometimes I use them as kind of to analyze, and I maybe won't use them again for the rest of the session, but they're there for me to help me understand what the golfer's doing.
So I think teaching with technology is not necessarily a must now, but it's kind of strange if you don't have technology as a coach.
Yeah, I think the way I like to see it, I mean, it's kind of I don't think you have to teach with technology, but I want to learn with technology.
Yeah.
So if you come in for a lesson, I'm going to use the technology that I can to learn about your golf swing. I might not use it to teach you, because that depends on the individual, but I use it for me to learn. You come in and you say, I want you to tell me my game. It's my job to learn as much as I can about your golf swing. I then have to process that and then decide how I transfer the information across to you, and that might be with a TrackMan, it might be not with a TrackMan. So I tend to use it to analyze and then pick and choose who I use it with. We've got to be careful, haven't we, that we don't just sit there in front of a computer screen and go, hit it further left, hit it further right, hit it further left, hit it further right. It's kind of using it in the right way, I think.
Yeah, perfect. I'm thinking more there from a consumer point of view. If you're looking to book a lesson, I've certainly from experience, I've seen people when they're looking for a lesson, they're looking for people with all of this technology. I certainly think people are drawn towards that sort of thing.
Yeah, I would agree, and it's moved pretty quick, because it was probably no more than 6-7 years ago. TrackMans were pretty rare, and it was like, if they heard someone that had a TrackMan, it was like, oh, what's a TrackMan? What does it do? And then suddenly, fast forward like 6 years, and it's getting close to, like, say, it's been almost, if you haven't got one, you're not going to coach. It's gone pretty quick.
Yeah, it's transformed how we are trained as PGA pros. Certainly, just coming out the back of mine now, there was a heck of a lot to do with launch monitor numbers. I guess, I don't know, maybe rewind 5 to 10 years, there wouldn't be as much in the syllabus.
Yeah, I think when I went through my training, I started in 2001, and we were the first year where the whole kind of, it changed in terms of ball flight laws, because it was always believed that the path would start it and it would finish on the face, and it was kind of changed. And we were the first one to go through this kind of new system. And that was all kind of from TrackMan, really, and their findings. And it's definitely changed the way we know what happens at impact.
You started your PGA very young then.
I was like 18, 2001.
Yeah.
2001.
I was going to say I was 6 in 2001.
Made me feel pretty old, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was just going to go back to obviously what we were saying a second ago with the data and things. I think it's really interesting. I mean, I've just bought a FlightScope XI Tour and a Sam's Putt Lab as well. Yeah. And it's amazing how many lessons like I do on Sam's, and I won't show somebody the report, because obviously the great thing is on the computer, and I might go, I don't necessarily have to go all the way through the report. I can go, right, here's this screen. We can see this is off. This is going to cause this. This explains what you've said to me. Would you agree? Yeah, absolutely. Great. Let's work on that. And that kind of really helps kind of back up sometimes what you're saying, because on the odd occasion, you do get it where somebody might go, oh, I don't feel like I'm doing that. Or, oh, I'm definitely not aiming my putter there. I can aim my putter at the target. And you go, well, you can't. And it's quite nice then to be able to show them that they can't. I think having that data really does help draw a bit of actual, this is what it is.
Well, I think video cameras came into coaching for the same reasons. It wasn't to help people coach, it was to stop arguments. It was the student going, no, I did that, and the coach going, no, you didn't. No, I did. Yeah. Like, I'm going to video it and show you didn't do it. But it's the same thing, isn't it? It helps back up. But it also, it helps the student trust a bit more, doesn't it? They can buy into it 100% because he said something, I can see that it's proved, I'm all in. Whereas, without technology, there is that potentially that little bit of doubt as to, I'm not sure he's right there. There is no doubt.
Feeling real, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
So different.
Absolutely, never the same.